Autonomous vehicles are here.
I predict that this will likely be the first multi-trillion-dollar robotics industry.
You heard Jensen, the first multi-trillion-dollar robotics industry, AV or autonomous vehicles. How can you profit from this secular growth trend? Today, I'm going to share 3 must-own stocks to ride the AV revolution.
Nvidia Cosmos. Nvidia Cosmos, the world's first world foundation model. It is trained on 20 million hours of video.
Great question in Discord from NG. Eric, long we heard Tesla has proprietary data for autonomous vehicles, but Nvidia on CES or at CES changed the game on how to acquire road data. Is that a threat to Tesla now? The answer is that they're very different. Omniverse creates synthetic data, and that does not replace real-world data. Instead, it augments the data. And Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, said, in quotes, Elon Musk of Tesla has a great advantage because his AI factory for his cars is fantastic. It has a lot of Nvidia gear in it. His AV algorithms are incredible. It's the best in the world. He has a very large fleet of cars on the road that allows him to collect a lot of data. I think he's in a phenomenal position. So a couple of things to note here. First, Tesla is an Nvidia customer. Jensen at CES talked about 3 different computers, and he mentioned that different companies might use all computers or just one of those computers.
Omniverse plus Cosmos represents the 3rd computer that's necessary for building robotic systems. Every robotics company will ultimately have to build 3 computers. The robotic system could be a factory, the robotic system could be a car, it could be a robot. You need 3 fundamental computers. One computer, of course, to train the AI. We call it the DGX computer to train the AI. Another, of course, when you're done, to deploy the AI. We call that AGX. That's inside the car, in the robot, or in an AMR, or at the in a stadium, or whatever it is. These computers are at the edge and they're autonomous. But to connect the two, you need a digital twin. And this is all the simulations that you were seeing. The digital twin is where the AI that has been trained goes to practice, to be refined, to do its synthetic data generation, reinforcement learning, AI feedback, such and such. And so it's the digital twin of the AI. These 3 computers are going to be working interactively. NVIDIA's strategy for the industrial world, and we've been talking about this for some time, is this 3-computer system. Instead of a three body problem, we have a 3-computer solution.
Secondly, world data is better. Tesla world data is going to be better than augmented data. It is, however, more expensive. Tesla has the edge with billions of miles in FSD, and Jensen even admits that. But Jensen and Nvidia want to augment that data, especially for car companies that aren't named Tesla.
The 20 million hours of video focuses on physical dynamic things, not about generating creative content, but teaching the AI to understand the physical world. And with this physical AI, there are many downstream things that we could do as a result. We could do synthetic data generation to train models. We could distill it and turn it into effectively the beginnings of a robotics model. You could have it generate multiple physically based, physically plausible scenarios of the future, basically do a Doctor Strange. You could, because this model understands the physical world, of course, you saw a whole bunch of images generated. This model understanding the physical world, it also could do, of course, captioning. And so it could take videos, caption it incredibly well, and that captioning and the video could be used to train large language models. And so you could use this technology to use this foundation model to train robots, as well as large language models.
You can see here that Tesla has over 2 billion miles. This is cumulative miles driven with FSD. This is going to be supervised. You can see blue is FSD miles. That red is going to be FSD version 12. And this website shows you the FSD miles in real time, currently 2.365 billion. So currently Tesla offers this full self-driving supervised subscription. This is autopilot and advanced driver assistance system. It's not meant for you to go to sleep, although you see videos on the internet all the time of people doing it. And the reason that these miles are so important is for the future of Tesla, which is robotaxis, truly autonomous Teslas, which Elon sees ferrying passengers around when they'd otherwise be parked. In other words, using your Tesla as essentially an Uber or a Lyft, but you don't have to actually drive it. Now, there's also the purpose-built Tesla robotaxi. So something like this, and this is all speculation. A quote from Musk: timing of robotaxi deployment depends on technological advancement and regulatory approval. So the FSD miles are used to continuously improve, to advance that technology, and also to help with that regulatory approval. Now, how does that stack up to a competitor, say like Uber? On an earnings call, Musk described Tesla's taxi service as a combination of Airbnb and Uber. The idea here is that the Tesla fleet will include both robotaxis and vehicles of Tesla owners who opt in. So you own a Tesla car, and when you're not operating or using it, you can rent it out for robotaxi duty. And then, of course, you also have Waymo from Google, and then Amazon has something called Zoox. So the number one autonomous vehicle stock to own, hands down, without question, is Tesla. Jensen Huang from Nvidia, one of the smartest people of our time, told us that Elon has a great advantage, that Tesla's AI factory for its cars is fantastic, that the AV algorithms are incredible. Jensen also said that Tesla is the best in the world. They have a very large fleet of cars, which allows them to collect a tremendous amount of data. Over 2.3 billion FSD miles driven. On top of that, they have the first mover advantage. And we've talked about this on the channel before, but Tesla could offer this service as a software as a service or a SaaS subscription. So these other car manufacturers and OEMs could essentially license that data. That's just speculation, but it is a possibility. The world data that Tesla captures is the best data you can possibly have. It is the most expensive and it's the hardest to capture. So again, Tesla has the edge and Nvidia wants to augment that data, which is a very different thing. Let's take a closer look to see exactly how this works with Nvidia.
Autonomous vehicles. The AV revolution has arrived. After so many years with Waymo's success and Tesla's success, it is very, very clear autonomous vehicles has finally arrived. Well, our offering to this industry is the three computers, the training systems to train the AIs, the simulation systems and the synthetic data generation systems, Omniverse and now Cosmos, and also the computer that's inside the car. Each car company might work with us in a different way, use one or two or three of the computers. We're working with just about every major car company around the world. Waymo and Zoox and Tesla, of course, in their data center, BYD, the largest EV company in the world, JLR's got a really cool car coming, Mercedes, because a fleet of cars coming with Nvidia starting this year, going to production. And I'm super, super pleased to announce that today, Toyota and Nvidia are going to partner together to create their next generation AVs. Just so many cool companies, Lucid and Rivian and Xiaomi and of course, Volvo, just so many different companies. Wabi is building self-driving trucks. Aurora, we announced this week also that Aurora is going to use NVIDIA to build self-driving trucks. 100 million cars built each year, a billion vehicles on the road all over the world, 1 trillion miles that are driven around the world each year. That's all going to be either highly autonomous or, fully autonomous coming up. And so this is the NVIDIA Cosmos.
What you see on your screen right now is a list of all of the partners that NVIDIA is working with for self-driving solutions, and the list is very long. Some big hitters on the list: Mercedes-Benz, JLR, Volvo, BYD, a bunch of the Chinese names on here, including NIO. Other companies like Polestar, he mentioned Lucid and Rivian. And as of right now, Automotive is only 2% of revenue, only $1.1 billion for revenue. This is FY 2024. And that 5-year CAGR, that compound annual growth rate, is only 11%. I think that number is going to accelerate dramatically over the next 5 years. Remember, NVIDIA has all three of the computers that are required that Jensen talked about. So I believe that NVIDIA is the second must-own stock for autonomous vehicles. Of course, right now, NVIDIA is absolutely crushing it with data center and AI revenue. But I believe that automotive is a tremendous opportunity for NVIDIA to grow. If you've been following this channel, Fired Up Wealth, for a while, you've been printing money. We recommended NVIDIA back in 2022 when it was a $15 stock. And Tesla has been a channel favorite as well, $175 or less DCA. So this is a great time right now to smash that subscribe button. And make sure to click that bell so you don't miss the next video. So more than likely you're watching this video and you own both NVIDIA and Tesla stock already. What's the third stock that I believe is a must-own stock to capture this secular growth trend of AV? So earlier in the video, I talked about how Tesla is going to compete against companies like Uber. Musk told us on an earnings call, essentially Tesla wants to be a combination of Airbnb and Uber together. But a big plot twist here, Uber is teaming up with Nvidia to accelerate autonomous mobility. Now you think about miles and how you collect those miles. Of course, Tesla has its own fleet, and Uber, even though it's not robotaxi yet, has a massive fleet that can capture video that can be used with Nvidia Cosmos to augment the data that we talked about earlier. Generative AI will power the future of mobility, requiring both rich data and very powerful compute. This is the CEO of Uber. By working with Nvidia, we are confident that we can help supercharge the timeline for safe and scalable autonomous driving solutions for the industry. Millions of trips occur every single day on Uber, representing a vast and rich source of data that companies will look to pair with the Nvidia Cosmos platform and Nvidia DGX Cloud. It's going to allow you to build those models faster and at lower cost. Uber is one of the first mobility leaders to embrace these platforms to accelerate the development and deployment of physical AI systems such as AVs. This is from Norm Marks, the Vice President of Automotive for Nvidia. He says we're excited to collaborate with Uber to help empower the AV ecosystem with Cosmos and the DGX Cloud. You guys, this is absolutely massive. This is showing you the annual trips for Uber just in 2023, 9.44 billion trips. That's not miles, that's just trips. So if there's one platform that can compete with Tesla to get 2.3 billion miles of data, it's gonna be Uber. Some important things to note here. First, Uber does not have its own self-driving technology or any project. It had a self-driving division that it sold back in 2020. Ultimately, Uber and Nvidia will together empower the technology to develop. Statistica estimates that autonomous ride-hailing could be a $5 trillion market. If Uber can maintain 25% market share, we're looking at $1 trillion in revenues. Of course, this is just speculation, and that's probably an optimistic scenario, but it is important just to think about these numbers. In terms of Uber stock right now, a 20 PE ratio, and that forward peg is 0.56. The profitability grade here on Seeking Alpha is an A+. Growth is also an A+, with 16.62% forward revenue growth. So the valuation, if you look at the non-GAAP TTM, that's where that 20 is coming from. If you look at the PE gap forward, it's a 34.63. Forward price to sales, 3.12. So this is a profitable company. The forward EPS, $1.87. It does have 2.49% short interest. The stock is only up 5.36% over the past year. It's up 11.17% year to date. Its current market cap is $136.53 billion. And it's trading up today about 3.42% at $67 a share. So on previous chart days here in orange, we looked at this, we circled up this orange circle. I said my preference is $55 to $60. Now it did actually break that $60 level. It got to $59.33 very briefly. It's now $67. It's still in this orange circle. Most of our buys were around $65 or less in Discord. I still think Uber has attractive risk reward even today at $67 a share. And as a quick bonus pick, number 4, Alphabet Google because of Waymo, but that's more of a moonshot and it's not going to be a big percentage of revenue, but that is a stock to consider as well to capture some of the autonomous vehicle market share. If this video is helpful, guys, make sure you drop me a like, drop me a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.